Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into my Watch Me Wednesday. So, crossing my fingers today, I think I've got the volume and the sound all figured out what was happening. So I'm hoping not to lose you today so you can hear me the entire time. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So today is going to be a fun little tutorial. We all take for granted our trusty sewing machines sometimes, and we don't always necessarily give them the spa treatment. So I wanted to tell you, hey Linda, how are you? And there's my Brian. Hi, Brian. I wanted to talk to you about taking care of our machines so that they're always functioning at their optimal performance so that we can get our quilting and our sewing needs done on a regular basis. Especially now with this, the COVID going on, a lot of us aren't taking our machines out for servicing, but that means you just need to keep it clean more often. So I'm gonna kind of walk you through it. And if you stick with me to the end of the video, I have a really special announcement that I am super excited about. I can't wait to share with you. Actually, I have two. Hit the share button and let's get to the machines. So I know that we all probably have different brands of machines. I have Vikings. As many of you know, I am a Viking brand ambassador. So I do have lots of Viking machines, which I do take care of on a regular basis. So I want to walk you through that. And I know, like I said, many of you have different machines that you use. So mostly what I'm going to show you will apply to your machines. Some of you might have to do different things to your machines than I do. With the Viking, I don't have to oil it. So that's one thing that I know I don't have to do. So let me turn the camera down and let's focus in. I'm going to give you a few tips too that applies across the board to all of your machines. So let me bring you in closer, and I'm not going to lose you in sound. I swear I'm not going to lose the sound today. Let me turn my camera down and we're going to rotate you into the machine here so that you can see what I'm doing. And can you all still hear me? I bet you can. Let me just tighten the tripod up so the camera stays still. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple things. So one of the things that you need to know is one of the things that we overlook a lot is our needle. And a lot of us don't change our needles out frequently enough. Needles dull, just like rotary blades or any other type of blade. So please make sure you change your needle out appropriately all the time. If you hear like a popping sound through your fabrics, your needle's dull. If you feel it like pulling, it's dull. Change it out. I change it out all the time. You can use, depending on what you're working on, I have universal needles that I use. I also have the embroidery needles for when I'm doing embroidery because my Designer Epic 2 does embroidery. And I also use Microtex, and I use those basically when I'm doing paper piecing or working with my batiks because they have a much smaller blade. It'll go through a lot easier. So I'm going to change mine out to universal now. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And this is a universal 90, so you can see. I use the Inspira brand on my Vikings. I just find that they work better on these, but just my preference. Go with what works best on your machine. So change out your needle frequently. That's the first thing. The next thing we want to do is we want to get into our bobbin case. Now you may have a front loader. One of my Vikings does have a front loader. It's an older machine. So if you have a front loader, you're going to open that up. You're going to lift up your throat plate. If you have a machine like mine, you'll lift up your throat plate. Then you want to take your bobbin out. You want to take that out, set that aside, and take the bobbin case housing out as well. Now, I'm going to show you, where did I put it? Whoops, here it is. So I use this little brush to clean out my machine. It's very long, and some of you may recognize what this is. This is called a cyto sticks. It's actually used for pap smears, believe it or not, but the reason I like it is because it's a bristle type brush. It's not a Q-tip. It doesn't have lint that can get caught in there, or fibers that can get caught in your bobbin case area. So I like this because it's also long too. So it gives you the ability to get down in there. If you can get them in bags of 100 on Amazon, and they're cyto sticks. But basically, you're going to start wiping out your bobbin. See that? I already picked that up. That's just in my bobbin case right here. So you're going to wipe out any area that you can get to. See the lint already? You're going to wipe out any area you can get to. And then I stick the stick down in there, gather up any more lint. I'm just going to pile it up here so you can see. And I do this pretty frequently, but depending on how much sewing you do, you might want to do it, you know, after every sewing project. So any hole that you can get into, you're going to get down in, you're going to pull out, and then the lint just sticks right to the top of this. And I try and do a super thorough job of it. You can clean off your presser foot. You can clean off, you know, your threader, anything where there may be lint. And I'm going to get down in the back here where the feed dogs are. I'm pulling out some lint there. I just had a little chunk of something pull out. And you can wipe up your feed dogs and just pull the lint off the cyto stick as you are cleaning that. And I get, you know, that's a pretty decent amount of lint, but I've seen a lot worse. You know, if I forget one week or whatnot. Then you also want to take your bobbin case and you want to run it through here too, because lint accumulates in your bobbin case and under it as well. So you want to kind of clean that out as well. Make sure that's nice and clean. So that's quite a bit of lint, I think. If you get more than that, then you haven't been cleaning out your case very often. So make sure you're doing that. Then, once you've got all that done, you can set this aside. When my cyto stick gets to looking like this, and then I switch it out. I throw it out and get a new one. Anyway, so now you're going to put it back together. You're going to put your bobbin case back in. In my case, the bobbin case goes in first. And again, my Viking does not need oiling, so I don't need to do that. And I'm going to secure that there. Now, I want to show you, I did bring out my other throat plate. So a lot of you will hear me talking about the different throat plates. I always use the single hole. If you look, this one has a single hole. See, it's not a zigzag plate. So I use that when I'm doing just straight piecing because I don't need to have that zigzag plate in. Sometimes when you are doing like things like sewing a triangle or you're feeding a corner in, it gets sucked down into the bobbin case, and that's because you're using a zigzag plate. So see the difference there? This hole right here, that, you know, is a zigzag plate. So if you're doing decorative stitches or anything, it'll enable the needle to go side to side. So if you're doing decorative stitches, you certainly want to have this plate in. If not, you want to have the single hole throat plate in. Most machines come with it. If it doesn't, I'm sure you can purchase one. This machine, the nice thing is, there's my little lint bunny there. This machine, the nice thing about this is, I'm going to put this back in, is that, there we go. Okay, the nice thing is that when you have this plate in, the single hole plate in, where did I put my bobbin? When you have the single hole plate, the machine will tell you, if I went to go switch it to a decorative stitch, it would tell me that I have a single hole throat plate in and that I can't do that decorative stitch. And so it'll warn me, it'll beep at me and say, hey, change your plate out, you can't do that stitch here. So, which is nice. So it's got like a sensor in it that tells me about that. I always have my little magnetic screwdriver on hand because that helps me with the changing of my needle and lifting up my throat plate and also putting on my embroidery foot. Now, I'm actually been doing some paper piecing, so I'm using just a regular A-foot right now because I'm sewing on a line. But here's my 1/4 inch foot that's typically on my machine. It's my 1/4 inch foot. And they just pop on and pop off on my Viking. Now, one other thing that I was recently told, and I really didn't know, I'm assuming it has some substance to it. I don't know for a fact, but you know, maybe one of you can verify. I have been told never to pull your thread out from the top of the machine. Always clip it at the top and pull it out here when you're done with your thread. So in other words, when I want to close up my machine, I'm going to clip it at the top. I'm just going to pull it out here rather than pulling it backwards. I was told it's because it goes through the tension discs in a different way backwards. I don't know. I can't verify for that for you. But I also, like I had also told you, and many of you hear this from those of you who take my online classes or have taken a class from me in person, I use Aurifil thread. So I typically piece with the 50 weight thread, which is the orange cone. The green cone is a 40 weight thread, so it's a lot thicker. So this is what I typically piece with, and you know, I'll quilt with 40 weight if I want to see it. So that is your basic, very basic maintenance on your machine. So I'm going to turn the camera back up, and I'm hoping you can all still hear me. Can you still hear me? Betsy says that is correct. Thank you, Betsy, for verifying for me. So I am going to give you, I have a couple special announcements. Couple special announcements for you too. Let me push it back just a little bit. There you go. So I have a couple special announcements, and I thank you for hanging in with me. First of all, I wanted to tell you, I just got in stock. I'm so happy. My Mandala Magic pre-cuts are here. Woo woo! They are here, and they are selling like hotcakes, and they're in limited quantity. They are on my website. The stack pack and the strip pack are available. And I also have only 2 of these left, my Ancient Etchings stack pack. So those are on my website. You can get those. I'll put the link above me afterwards. But a super, super special announcement. So show of hands. How many of you know what Quilty Box is? Raise your hand if you do. If you do, or even if you don't, I am the designer of the month for October. Yay, I'm so excited. I've been working this summer really hard to bring you a brand new design in my Mandala Magic fabrics that will be in the October Quilty Box. It's a cute little wall hanging. I'm really super excited about it. You'll get the fabrics in the Quilty Box. You will get some other little goodies in there and the pattern to make it. If you are not familiar with Quilty Box, it is like a subscription type box that gets to your, hey, there's Carrie. Hey, Carrie. It comes to your door and every month. But if you want to get mine for October, you need to subscribe now to get it for October. And I'll be giving you some little sneak peeks and teases throughout. So that's my exciting announcement. And I'll put the link to Quilty Box above me as well. So thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you popping in and saying hi. Come back next week and I'll have another tutorial for you. And I hope you have a happy, happy Wednesday, everybody. Take care. Happy quilting. Bye-bye.